Happy Thursday! On this week's episode of the Otaku Experience, it's a slower week than normal, so I will give my first impressions on the summer 2023 anime season. Spoiler alert, it's freaking fantastic. And also, how exactly do you get into anime in 2023? You know, this big old empire of freaking anime, it's getting super popular. How exactly do you even navigate getting started if you want to watch anime? We'll talk about that and much, much more on this week's episode of the Otaku Experience. Behold, it's me, Israel King, the CEO of SAO, the resident PGS Transformers expert, as proclaimed by Meyer, Burnett, or as most people know me, Kingtanic. Hello and welcome to all of my fellow weebs, otakus, imagination connoisseurs, and all the members of the Post-Geek Singularity to another episode of the Otaku Experience, the anime non-news show where we talk about the current goings-on in the anime and manga industry with our very uneducated opinions. Special thanks to Meyer, Burnett, all the great folks at the Burnett Network, and of course you, our viewers, because without you guys, this show would not be possible. Now, like I was saying a little bit in that intro, it's a very slow news week. Like nothing happened. And I mean, this is a pattern that we've seen before throughout the Otaku Experience and just throughout being an anime fan. When an anime season is ending and a new one is starting, usually there is not much news that comes out because they want all the focus to be on the anime. They know that that's going to be the big topic of conversation. We also just got out of Anime Expo last week. People are gearing up for Comic-Con, or what would have been a big Comic-Con until like all of those major studios dipped out on that. And so usually in between seasons, we don't get much of anything, really. And so that's the case here. It's that in-between week where we'll probably get some good stories next week. We got some decent stories last week, but this week, not much of anything. So I was like, okay, I could cancel the episode of the Otaku Experience. I could be like, hey, Rob, not doing it this week, send. And then Rob would be like, okay, yeah, fine. But he'd probably be like, Israel, he betrayed me. No, I'm just kidding. But Rob's great, guys. I know my caricature of Rob. I have oh man, Rob and I got to do like a skit or something where he actually plays the version that I like always personify him as. It's very funny. Okay, but anyways, Rob's a very sweet, very nice guy. He's been very patient with me because I'm a buffoon. But okay. So because it's such a slow news week and I didn't want to cancel the show, I could have just sat down and been like, all right, Goofy Woofy Anime Community seasonal rankings. All right, later, and then left. But I decided, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's do some things. Let me stretch my creative muscles a bit. And so I decided that it would be interesting for us to talk about what it's like being a new anime fan or someone that wants to get into anime in 2023, and how exactly do you get into anime in 2023? I think that's pretty interesting. And so we're gonna kind of break this down a little bit. I don't know if this is gonna be a good idea or not, but I don't know. It could be fun. It could be awful. Who's to say? So getting into anime, especially right now, it's kind of crazy because you have so many things going on. So if I open up my anime list, this is the summer 2023 anime season. These are just all the shows that I'm watching. If I turn off that setting and turn everything on, these are all the shows that are airing, period. Right? And then here's some continuing shows from previous seasons that are airing. Then here's some special things, whether they drop all at once or they have a smaller amount of episodes. And then we have some OVAs, and then here are the movies that are coming out, and then here's some specials. So this is what your typical anime season looks like. And getting into anime for the first time, you might just be like, how the frick am I supposed to navigate any of this? It could be very daunting and very confusing, and I get that. So I want to give a little bit of clarification on how exactly you do this. So this is going to be your best friend in anime if you're first starting out, and this is called My Anime List. It's myanimelist.com. You just make an account with your email, and then basically it's kind of like IMDb or Letterboxd for movies, except that for anime. And so you have a ton of things here. So if you go to just the My Anime List homepage, you'll get things like there's some news stuff. You get friend updates if you have friends. You get a small little bracket of top airing anime. You get top upcoming anime. You get the most popular anime. You can get some articles down here, anime recommendations, some other updates, anime suggestions based on the shows that you've been liking, latest updated anime episodes. You can keep up with what anime are airing, a manga store, and then, they highlight whatever season is currently airing and things like that. And then you'll get ads every now and then. And so up here at the top, and so that's the general layout. And if you do ever go to your account, so this is my profile, you can have your favorite anime at the bottom here. You can also have your favorite manga. You can have favorite characters. You can have favorite people in the industry. You can have friends, some badges. It has your latest anime and manga updates. And then on top of that, you will also get to have your own anime list. Thus comes the name of the website, My Anime List. And so here's my completed list. And so here's the shows that I've completed throughout my anime watching of a few years. So there's all of those. Here are all the shows that are on hold that I need to come back to and finish at some point. Here are all the shows that I've dropped, which is a decent amount. Here are the shows that I plan to watch, which is around like 200 something. So it scrolls down for a bit. And then here are all the shows that I'm currently watching. And then if I go to all anime, it compiles all those lists together to where we have 300 to, is my link going to work? Hello? Okay, it's not working. But usually it's like 300 to 400 shows accumulating all of the things that you've watched, that you've planned to watch, that you dropped, that are on hold, everything like that, throughout your My Anime List history. And so it just keeps on going. And so, and you can organize, you can customize the color layout, you can customize how how things look on your thing. So for me, I took off the ranking system because it ranks automatically by score. So if you give something a 9 and you give something else a 9, it'll then rank it in alphabetical order. Or if, and I don't really like number scores to begin with. And so I don't really go based off of that either. I'm in the process of removing the numbers, and then I'm going to remove that tab altogether. I know how I feel. I just like to have them all documented there, completed, and then I'll add in like a little note of like how much I enjoyed something, whether I liked something, whether I loved something, if I thought it was mid, if I didn't like it, things like that. But what for you guys who are brand new to anime, where you want to start is in this anime tab right here. And so there are two main options that you want to start with. So first you're going to click on anime. You're going to scroll down to top anime and you're going to click that. And that's going to take you to this tab of all anime, top airing anime. This seems like a little too far away. Is that better? Okay, there we go. All anime, top airing anime, top upcoming anime, top TV series, top movies, top OVAs, top ONAs, top specials, most popular, and most favorited. So, my opinion, these are going to be, there are two tabs that are going to be your biggest friends, okay, when you're first starting out. And that is the top anime series. This is going to rank them based on the average score that comes from, so the average score, so Full Metal Alchemist is the highest rated anime of all time. It adds up the over 2 million rankings, and it does, they actually have, like you can look into it. With the score. I don't know where it is, but I have seen it before, the setting where you can like look in and see like how they rank it. Yeah, see, so it's a ranked, they explain how they do it with math and things like that, which I'm very bad at. And so here would be your scores that you're basing it off. So you have almost 1 million reviews saying it's a 10 out of 10, over 500,000 saying it's a 9, over 8, almost 300,000 saying it's an 8, over 100,000 saying it's a 7, and then so on, and things like that. And that's why that is the highest rated anime of all time. So then that would be how you look at viewing things. So if you just want to watch something that you're like, okay, this seems like it's probably going to be decent, this is probably your most popular area that you want to check out. The other option, the option that I recommend starting in personally, I mean, either of these is fine, but if you want like, this is the route I would go if I was new to anime, I would go to the most popular tab. So the most popular tab is going to be exactly that. It's going to be the thing that most people have watched, or at least the most the thing that most people have interacted with, whether they've started it, whether they've dropped it, whether they have it in their plan to watch, anything, any interaction they're going to get. So while Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood might be the highest rated anime of all time, it has almost 3.2 million members. The highest, most popular anime of all time is Attack on Titan, or Shingeki no Kyojin. And that has almost 3.8 million members. And so that's probably a decent area for you to start. That, along with Death Note, which was my, I think my third or fourth anime that I ever watched, is up there. Sword Art Online, which was my first anime. One Punch Man, My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, Naruto, Tokyo Ghoul, Hunter x Hunter, Your Name. If you want to start with movies, you got Steins Gate. This, in my opinion, Jujutsu Kaisen, this is going to be your list, of course, One Piece, that you want to see what most people are talking about. So if you want to have a guaranteed, like, I'm going to be able to talk to people about something, I would recommend starting with the most popular tab. Now, I would also recommend, instead of just clicking on something and watching it, I mean, you can do that if you want. I would actually instead look at the reviews, see if people think it's good, but then I would also read the synopsis. And then I would scroll down here, and on the left side, you're going to get genres, and it's going to say what the genres are. And then using all of those things, then you should be able to come to a decent decision of, is this something that interests me? Also, another thing that they have on my anime list is they have little trailers up here. So when you click on an anime on the top right, you get a trailer of the anime. And then you can also check that out as well. And so that's your two main tabs on my anime list that I would recommend starting with. And then here's another thing that you can do that I know a lot of people did at first, and it's something I did as well. And that is Netflix. And this is called, we could do what is called Netflix Roulette, where you open up Netflix, you just type in anime, and then you see what the most trending, most popular anime are on Netflix. And then you can watch whatever show interests you. This is also where I found Sword Art Online before I found out about my anime list. And I found Sword Art Online on here because it was very popular. And I watched that. And then that was that there. And then another thing that you can do after you do that, or if you don't start on Netflix and you want to start on an actual anime streaming service, your best bet and your biggest option is going to be Crunchyroll. So Crunchyroll, you can click up here on, so this is what your homepage of Crunchyroll looks like. So you can click up here on the Browse tab and go to Popular, New, Alphabetical, Simulcast, Release Calendar, things like that. Or you can click on a certain genre that you're interested in. I would start with Popular personally. Same thing like with my anime list. You can see what the most popular shows are, the things that most people have watched on Crunchyroll. And you can start there and you can watch these shows. And these are more of a most popular right now list rather than a most popular in general, because if it was a most popular in general list, I think you'd see more things like Attack on Titan, like Sword Art Online, up there at the top, but they have a lot of summer and spring anime up here, mainly because that's what most people are watching right now. And so that's a decent area if you want to see what's going on right now. Another one you can do is something called High Dive, and I actually don't have it set up, which I thought I did. So High Dive is now it's Crunchyroll's biggest competitor, aside from Netflix, with purely anime stuff. It used to be Funimation until Funimation got bought by Sony. So now it is High Dive, and High Dive is where things like Oshinoko aired, The Eminence in Shadow, Insomniacs After School. There's current anime airing right now, like let's go to the simulcast. The Dreaming Boy is a Realist. You got Helk airing over here. Most Heretical Last Boss Queen. These are anime that are kind of popular in this current anime season. Usually High Dive doesn't get as many anime as Crunchyroll, but they'll steal away like 2 or 3 popular shows that causes you to subscribe to High Dive. Now, High Dive is actually the cheapest subscription on this list so far of possible places to watch anime. High Dive is only $5 a month, so it's very easy to pay for. Just don't get Starbucks for a day and pay for High Dive and get some anime. And you can get fun things like that. I actually really like High Dive. I like it more and more the more I use it. I still prefer Crunchyroll, but I actually kind of like High Dive as well. And then another thing that you need to know about for dire circumstances is the seven C's. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. So there's a website called For Anime, and keep in mind, I do not recommend that you do this in general. Don't do this. Okay, so here's For Anime, and as you can see, I get an ad. Great, perfect. So you go up here on the search. Let's say, oh no, Summertime Render isn't airing anywhere for me to watch it, even though I want to watch it really bad because Disney Plus has blocked it in the US and it's airing everywhere else in the world. Well, that's what this is for. And so you can go here. Make sure you use a VPN like me so I don't get ads and things like that. And then you get the episodes here. Now, this is a free website. I do not recommend you do this, though, because the more that people do this, the sooner and the faster the anime industry will take a nosedive because of their sales going down. They get a portion of the money that goes to the subscription of the services and what the watch is and things like that, the ads that play and things like that. And so if you just go and torrent things just to do it, just so you can save money, I really don't think that that's a good way to do it. I use those websites only in situations where they are simply not giving me an opportunity to watch something when I'm willing to, even if I'm willing to pay to watch it, and they wouldn't give it to me. Summertime Render, I believe, didn't even come out for everybody else in the US officially until I think it was earlier this year, like almost half a year after it aired. And it's like, bro, I can't do that. Like I want to watch it now. I don't want to get spoiled. And so sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures. And then once you do that and you're like, man, I need people to talk to about this anime, or I need to hear other people's thoughts on things, that's where you get into the AniTuber area, starting with, of course, the most subscribed to AniTuber on YouTube, and that is Giguk. He makes anime videos, and he's the most popular at it. Garnt is great. He's eating a freaking cookie for some reason. What are you doing, Garnt? But yeah, he does some of those popular anime videos, like the anime in a nutshell videos, which is something you can watch if you're not sure what anime you want to watch in an anime season. He will in a minute each break down the most popular anime that are airing. Another one is The Anime Man. Now, he's kind of moved away from anime, but he still focuses a lot on very Japanese related things. So if you're an otaku or a weeb and you like just Japanese culture in general, that this is something that you might be interested in if you want to do that. Then you have Dog VA, same thing, not really a straight up anime channel like Giguk is, but very anime adjacent stuff, or more otaku stuff, where he does a lot of cosplays, he tours Japan, he goes to love cafes, things that only happen in Japanese culture. Those are the types of things you can expect from him. If you want to get more into daily upload channels, that's where you can get to something like Chibi Reviews, who I really like. If I just want to, hear someone's current thoughts on something airing right now, he'll talk about things that are going on in the community. He'll talk about leaks. He'll talk about manga. He'll talk about anime. And he talks about news as well. And I actually really like Chibi. I think Chibi's very underrated. And I know what you're saying, Israel, he has almost 500,000 subscribers. I know, but Chibi's great. Everybody go subscribe to Chibi. Another one is Glass Reflection, who I think actually does the best anime news stuff on YouTube. I know we always say the Otaku Experience, but I think Glass Reflection has been doing this for years. And so I think that he actually genuinely does the best stuff just because he's had the most time to perfect it. It's a completely different type of thing. He does maybe one video a week that's 10 minutes long. And he'll talk about the 3 biggest stories, whereas we do an hour long and we talk about other things. So it's a completely different style of news. But if you want to hear more news stuff, you can also check out Glass Reflection. Another one that is very popular is Mother's Basement. Mother's Basement does very video essay type things. I wouldn't say he rarely uploads, but he uploads maybe once or twice a month. But you get these really long half an hour videos. And he doesn't just talk about anime. Sometimes he might talk about anime adjacent things, or he might talk about community things. But either way, you can expect a pretty good deep dive into a topic with Mother's Basement. Going into the last two are just some of my favorites. So Hermzar, who's a daily anime reactor. I've been watching him for a couple years. I don't watch every video because he doesn't watch anime. The anime that he watches are not always anime that I watch, is a better way to say that. And so I'll watch the anime that I watch. Like if there's a really good episode and I'm like, bro, I gotta see someone's reaction to this, I can always go to Hermzar. He's great. And then of course the greatest AniTuber of all time, me. Where, you know, I'll talk about anime coming up, and then at the end of an anime season, you can bet that I will do a anime seasonal review. I'm currently working on the spring 2023 seasonal review right now, but here's the fall seasonal reviews. So long, I had to do them in 2 parts. Both were nearly an hour. Then you get, seasonal review for spring 2022, Saturday videos, because Sword Art Online is my favorite anime, so I have a series dedicated only to Sword Art Online. I have this series called Bad Anime, where I watch really bad reviewed anime, so that way I can find the worst anime of all time, and things like that. And then the last thing, well, not the last thing, but after you move on from this whole aspect where you're getting into really popular stuff and things like that, you go back to my anime list and you can go to this seasonal anime tab like we started out with, and you can just see all the anime that are airing in an anime season. Check them out, read about them, watch trailers, and decide which anime are yours. Another good site for this is AniList. I use AniList mainly to document what I watch, where I look at my anime list more for community type things. I like to see what people are watching based on my anime list. I document what I'm watching based on AniList because it's just a lot easier for me to keep track of things. Like it straight up tells you when episodes are airing. It's so easy to keep track of. And then there's also AniChart, which tells you what the most highest rated stuff are. And before an anime season will come out, it'll tell you what the most anticipated anime are. Then you also get like these reviews where it's like, oh, 82% of the audience liked it. Okay, I'll watch that. Or, oh no, where is it? I don't know. Where's a low rated one? Yeah, okay, 60. Okay, 60% of the audience liked that. Okay, maybe that one more of a coin flip. Maybe I don't want to waste my time on that. Things like that. Then after you do all that and you're like, okay, now I want to read some manga. How do I get into manga? Once again, you go back to my anime list, and instead of doing top anime, you go to the manga tab and you search top manga, and you repeat the process, either the highest rated manga, which is Berserk, or the most popular manga, which is also Berserk, or Attack on Titan, or One Piece, or Chainsaw Man, or things like that. So if an anime season ends and it hasn't fully adapted and you're like, I have to know what's next, you can go and read the manga to catch up, and things like that. And basically you just repeat that entire process again, but for manga. Now, something that'll really help you if you're watching big shows like Naruto or One Piece or Dragon Ball, whatever, that have so many episodes. I had to use this for Bleach last year when I was catching up on that, is an anime filler guide. And so an anime filler guide, you can just search like Bleach on here. You get episodes to watch or skip with Bleach. It'll label like how to read this. And then you'll get just all the episodes. So like right here, this entire arc is filler. This entire arc is filler. And then it'll go back to filler stuff, or to non-filler stuff. Then you have more filler. And then it just basically tells you the episodes that are not mandatory. You can still watch them if you want, but you don't have to, and you can skip them if you don't want to watch them. And I think that really helps if you're just trying to get through as many anime as possible. And then the last thing, my last tip for this is don't force yourself to watch anything that you don't want to watch. If you read a synopsis or watch a trailer to something that's super popular and super highly reviewed, but you're just simply not interested in it, don't force yourself to watch it if you genuinely just aren't interested in it, but you're afraid of missing out of something. If you want to do something that I do, if it's really popular and it has really high reviews and I'm not interested by the synopsis, I will give it the benefit of the doubt and watch an episode. But if it's still not for me, I won't force myself to watch something that's super popular that I'm just simply not having a good time in. I think that that's a waste of time, and ultimately that's just going to cause you to not really enjoy anime all that much if you're only watching the shows that are super popular, regardless if you have an interest in them or not. I think there's a great crossfire section when you're getting started to watch maybe like 20 or 30 popular shows that you're also interested in, and then after that you can start watching seasonal anime. You can start watching anime that purely are interested that you are interested in that might not be super popular, and things like that. And I think that that's really your best way to succeed in starting out getting into anime. So to repeat all this and really, really fast, go to my anime list or any chart or any list or anything like that to look up things that you can rate things on and see what other people are talking about. I would always start with the most popular or best reviewed anime or manga of all time. Or you can go to Netflix Roulette, search anime, see what comes up. You can go to Crunchyroll or High Dive. Those are the two most popular. There's also Hulu, which also has some good stuff on there as well. When it comes to torrenting, only do it when you absolutely have to. Never just do it just to do it, because I think that that's ultimately a net negative for the anime industry. Subscribe to some anti-tubers that are interested in that kind of share your opinion, that you vibe with. Generally share your opinion. I mean, it's nice to listen to people that I disagree with as well, who make good videos that you like and are the style of videos that you're interested in. After that, you can start looking at seasonal anime and what's coming out every 3 months. Then repeat the whole process with manga. Always use filler lists when it's a really long show, just to make sure that you're not watching, 20 episodes of something that absolutely is completely inconsequential to something if you don't want to watch that. And then also don't force yourself to watch anything that you're not interested in. If you do all that, I think that you will succeed in becoming an anime fan. And I think that it'd be really interesting. If this was at all helpful to you guys, I would love to see your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. I would love to see maybe, in a few weeks, if you start this process, what your progress report is, being like, hey, after doing this process, here's some things that I would recommend to somebody else. Here's some things that I learned along the way, things like that, so we can help more people get into anime. Because with how big anime is becoming, it can be very, very hard and daunting to just look at this thing with tens of thousands of anime that have been created and be like, where the heck do I even start? And so hopefully in some way, maybe this helped you. All right, so like we said in the intro, the next thing I'm going to be talking about, and the last main thing we're going to be talking about in this week's episode of the Otaku Experience, is my first impressions on the summer 2023 anime season. I'm going to go from worst to best. I obviously have not watched everything that has started, but I watched quite a bit of stuff because I've mainly been still preparing and, in the process of making my spring review. And so I don't want to go start watching like 20 shows if I'm not even done with the previous season in terms of the stuff I do to make the video on it. So I'm going to talk about some of the anime that I've watched, mainly season 2s and anime that I was really, really interested in to check out. And so starting things off here in last place of the few anime that I've seen, I have Rent a Girlfriend season 3. I personally, Rent a Girlfriend was always just really good trash, but suddenly they've tried to actually have a plot. And I found that that's actually the worst thing they could have possibly done for this show. I'm like, bro, I don't care. I don't care about it. You want to make a movie? I don't care, bro. I mean, making movies is cool. I like making movies, but this is not what Rent a Girlfriend's about. Rent a Girlfriend's about stupid hijinks and romance. Why is there a plot? But I'm still looking forward to the next episode, hoping that it gets better. There were still great moments in this episode. Great. How do you define great for Rent a Girlfriend? But great moments for me, if you like that type of stuff. But in general, seems so far to be a step down from the previous 2 seasons, just purely based on the fact that the romance angle and comedy that the series is known for and best at is not going to be the highlight of this season or the main aspect, which to me is kind of a downstep. The next one in second to last place, and these aren't bad. When I say last place, I don't mean it's bad. But after that is Atelier Ryza, the anime we've actually been talking about for the past few months on this show. I watched the first episode. It was an hour long. It was great because it was an hour long, but it actually wasn't all that bad. You could definitely see how it was a video game. There was stuff in there that I was like, oh my gosh, this is totally a prompt for a tutorial or gameplay or tasks to run around and do other things, side quests and things like that. But I felt that overall they did a decent job with making it seem like an anime rather than just feeling like an animated game. Does that make sense? It actually felt like it had an actual story structure made for a television show rather than just taking a video game script and turning that into an anime, which I thought was decent. Obviously, the big topic in the big conversation that's going around this anime is obviously if you see Ryza's thighs, They're in every shot. The animators knew what their priorities were. All you're looking at is her thighs in this show. I tell her thighsa, am I right? I gotta write that down. I gotta use that in the seasonal review. I don't know if anyone said that, but I'm coining it. I've said that. And if you hear anyone else say it, say King said it first. Okay. But I thought it was actually a pretty decent first episode. I like the cast. I like the animation. I like the setup. I'm excited to see where it's going after the setup and things like that. The next thing was the girl I liked forgot her glasses. And now the really cool thing about this is the animation. Like I said from going into it, when we talked about what I was going to be watching in summer, the animation's fantastic for no other reason. They use these giant one takes in the opening scene of the anime when they're walking to school and they're like going around and they're like underneath the dude as he's walking. And it's shots I've never seen in anime quite done like this before. And it was really interesting to look at because some people were like, oh my gosh, it looks kind of weird and gross. But then other people were like, this might be the best thing I've ever seen, like in terms of cinematography in an anime. Whoever's directing this, they're doing a freaking fantastic job, and automatically I'm interested in anything else they have going forward. Aside from that, I'm a little nervous that maybe the joke has gotten old already in the first episode. I don't know if that was just like maybe a first episode, like that's where the title comes from. Because at the end of the episode, she says she now has contacts, so maybe she'll be able to see and things like that, or maybe she'll forget her contacts. But either way, I think it'd be fine if that was just a setup, and then after that, it's, you can move on to other things, because I think just a bit of her not being able to see for 12 episodes straight might get a little bit old. I could be wrong, but it might, and that's my biggest worry with it, which is why it's down here at number 3, just because I left the episode being like, that was good, but I don't know if it's gonna drop off or not. I'm a little nervous. Up next is Harimia the Missing Pieces, one of the anime I was most excited for in this next upcoming anime season, because I freaking loved the original, the parent anime of Harimia that came out in 2021. This is adapting stories that weren't adapted in the original anime adaptation because the manga was much longer than what they had for the anime. They just compressed a lot of stuff and kept only the things that were necessary for the story. And so there's a lot of stories that weren't adapted that they're adapting now. And the thing that's a little bit weird is they don't take, and I get why they don't do it, because it wouldn't be stated in the manga, because the manga would have came out linearly, but this is adapting things that take place between different episodes from the original. And so it's weird because they don't necessarily tell you when these episodes take place from the get-go. You kind of have to take context clues. You have to look at people's appearance. You have to see how they're talking to another character. Like the first episode aired and I was like, okay, is this before or after they started dating? And then the way they were talking to each other, I was like, okay, this is definitely before. And it's like, I wish they could have just said that, like this episode takes place between this and this, or maybe have a previously on and show like a scene from the original anime that takes place before this episode, just to kind of prep you for that. Other than that, it's a good time. I just feel like it's mainly, other than if you're a huge Harimia fan, other than that, I feel like it's mainly inconsequential and doesn't really add anything to the overall story. But I love the characters and I love the world, and I almost cried when the first episode aired because I was so happy to be back. But I'm enjoying the show. I just feel like that those are my major key issues with it so far. Up next is Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. We're in the top 3 now. Dude, what the heck? That directing on this was fantastic. I remember people saying that, like, oh my gosh, the season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Is that right? Am I thinking of Jujutsu Kaisen or Chainsaw Man? Either way, the direction in this season has been phenomenal and better than the movie and the first season was, in my opinion. The way that, and the action's always been great in Jujutsu Kaisen, but the way that just shots are going and the atmosphere and the acting and the shots that are chosen for this and just the tone being established, everything in like the first minute, I was like, bro, what the heck is happening? It was so freaking fantastic. And that's going to be a consistent between this and the top anime I have for this season so far, that the direction has been fan-freaking-tastic. I thought the first half of the episode was great. I thought the second half of the episode was a little bit less great, just mainly because there was a big exposition dump. But I'm excited to see how the show continues. now that things have kind of been set up and we can sort of get into the meat of the stuff. I just wish that Jujutsu Kaisen, and this is a problem it's had throughout its first season and the movie, I just wish it had better, more natural ways of exposition rather than people sitting there talking about exposition for 5 minutes. Because, it's a show don't tell, guys. Come on. Visual medium. At number 2, we have Bleach 1,000 Year Blood War. I loved the first part of Bleach 1,000 Year Blood War. I thought it was the best Bleach has been, and they're continuing that here. Dude, there's a piece of music in here when they cut to the Quincy's for the first time in this part, and I was like, bro, they thought this was freaking Star Wars. Like they I don't know if they misunderstood or understood the assignment too well. But dude, the music was freaking insane. When the choir came in, I was like, oh my gosh, is this like the best anime score I've ever heard? Maybe it is. I don't know. It's that freaking good. But I still like the tone that's going on. I like the setup. There were some twists in there that from the trailers and from things going from the previous part into this that I was surprised by because I haven't read the manga. And so I thought things were going in a certain way. I thought they were going to zig and then they zagged. And I was like, oh my gosh, whoa. Like there was a lot of twists and spoilers. So I'm going to try to be a lot more careful on when I talk about Bleach because there's a lot of stuff in here already that's going crazy. I recommend that you guys check it out. Freaking fantastic. I believe it's on Hulu, so you can watch it on Hulu there. And then my number 1 anime of the season so far, 2 episodes in, almost 3, is Mushoku Tensei Season 2. Now, if you guys have watched my main channel or have heard me talk about Mushoku Tensei before, you know that I thought the first season was just okay. I thought that it was just above mid. There was so much in there that I thought was just horrible writing, but so much in there that I thought was freaking fantastic writing. And the first 2 episodes of this, episode 0 and episode 1, have both been freaking fantastic. It's better than season 1 already. Unless they take a nosedive, which I pray to God they don't. It's been fantastic. I love what all the characters are dealing with. I love the darker tone. The first episode with Sylphie, and then this latest episode with Rudius. I like what the dilemma that both of them are going through, especially with Rudius. Like, I actually like Rudius for some reason in this new season. And I was like, oh my gosh, what have they done? They've written him well. And I really like where they're going with that. It's still very much set up, and so there's not really much to talk about. But all I'll say is they introduced a really nice group of people to Rudius because, after the first season, there was a loss and stuff that happened. He started losing people that were really close to him. And so now he's getting these new people that he's going to get really close to. And I saw this. And as the episode was ending, I was like, they are all going to die a horrible death in front of Rudius. I know it. It's going to happen. That's how this works. We got to make Rudius sad. Sad Rudius. And I get it, man. Sad Rudius so far has been the best Rudius has been written so far. And those are my top anime so far in this season. I think Mushoku Tensei for no reason has been like freaking like 9 out of 10 material. And I thought the first season was like a good like 6 or like a 5.5, like barely above average. And this has been freaking fantastic. So please keep this up, Mushoku Tensei, and you might have a good shot at being like in my top 3 anime of the year. Freaking brilliant, freaking fantastic. All right, guys, and there's not really a goofy woofy anime community this week just because like the stories seem to be kind of meh and stuff that we've talked about before. And so we're just going to go straight into the anime rankings, and we're going to start things off here with the anime trending audience rankings for the final week of spring. And so this is going to be pretty cool. So at number 1, they had Tengoku Daimakyo. 4 weeks at number 1. And then they had Oshinoko at the bottom, which I believe is the finale. And that went up 3 spots to number 2. And not that I believe this is the finale. These are all the final episodes of the spring season. Then they had Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury Season 2, which I've finished. Dude, what a great season. So much better than the first part. It was really, really good. So that went down 1 spot to number 3. And then Hell's Paradise went down 1 spot to number 4, and Dangers in My Heart went down 1 spot to number 5. It looks like Oshinoko leaped all of those and went up to number 2, which is why those all got pushed down. Skip and Loafer went up 3 spots to number 6. Insomniacs After School went down 1 spot to number 7. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Swordsman's Village Arc went down 1 spot to number 8. Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible went down 1 spot to number 9. And My Love Story with Yamada Kun at level 909 got re-entered into the top 10 for the final week, so I got to finish in the top 10 for the anime season. And I believe that with Anime Trending, that the top 4 anime for an anime season get automatically nominated for Anime of the Year. So that means you have Tengoku Daimakyo, Oshinoko, Mobile Suit Gundam Season 2, and Hell's Paradise all immediately nominated for the next season. I believe. I could be wrong. They might have their own like final nomination or something like that. But then next after that, and that's it. That's all the rankings, because we did Anime Corner. We finished that a few weeks ago. This was Anime Trending. And so after that, now we're going into the summer audience rankings. Oh my gosh. Where is it? This is really embarrassing. Oh, there we go. I fixed it. So for that, this is Anime Corner, and this is the first week of summer. And so at number 1, we have Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. All these are new entries, and that had got 10.79% of the vote. At number 2, we had My Happy Marriage, and that had 8.41% of the vote. Then we had The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses, and that got 8.28% of the vote. Then we had Mushoku Tensei Season 2, which got 8.21% of the vote, which I honestly thought that would be higher. Undead Girl Murder Farce got 7.46% of the vote at number 5. Harimi of the Missing Pieces got 6.58% of the vote at number 6. Masamune Kun's Revenge R got 6.24% of the vote at number 7. And then My Tiny Senpai got 5.22% of the vote at number 8. Rurouni Kenshin, the new one, got 4.95% of the vote at number 9. And The Dreaming Boy is a Realist got 4.34% of the vote at number 10. And yeah, guys, that will freaking do it for this week's episode of the Otaku Experience. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this week's episode. Like I said, shorter week than normal. Next week will definitely be better because this was an in-between week. Anime Expo just happened. Comic-Con would have happened in between anime seasons, and so not a lot of stories here. I think we did a decent job of filling in the gaps, though. I think we had a good time here today. Let me know if this was fun, or if next time there's no news, if you want me to just cancel the show because this was boring. I don't know. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that. What are your guys' thoughts on the current anime season? And the end of the previous season. If you want to follow me, you can keep up with me on YouTube and on Instagram at Kingtanic, or you can follow me on Twitter at Kingtanic Israel over there. You can also check out more shows on the Burnett Network, like Architects of Imagination, Lana Ewan's Burnett Network Reviews, all of Artem's shows, Rob's shows with Rob Observations, Midnight Musings, K-Pasa PGS with Roberto, Let's Get Physical Media, and things like that. Other shows to come, great things like that. That'll do it for me, guys. I've been Israel King. This has been the Otaku Experience, and I will see you guys next week.